The modern world bombards us with more information and distractions than any other era. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, lost in a sea of external opinions and unrealistic expectations that aren't truly ours. We live at a breakneck pace, where anxiety often feels like the constant soundtrack and inner peace a rare luxury. Imagine for a moment an invisible shield, one that doesn't isolate you from the world, but protects you from what truly affects you, not from external events, but from your own reaction to them. That's what we're going to talk about. How to develop a mental clarity that allows you to navigate any storm, keeping control of your ship, even when the waves threaten to capsize everything. It's not about being insensitive, but about being unshakable. A fortress built not of stone, but of inner wisdom, capable of withstanding the strongest winds of adversity. This video isn't a history lesson. It's a practical guide for anyone living today in the eye of the digital hurricane, social pressure, and existential crises that seem to sprout at every corner. The proposal is simple: to rescue a timeless way of thinking, one that proved its effectiveness in empires and in solitary prison cells, and apply it to the challenges of your daily life. Challenges like social media criticism, uncertainty about your professional future, small frictions in personal relationships, or the simple frustration of a plan gone awry. How do you react to these things? It's your reaction that defines your peace, not the event itself. And it's about mastering that reaction that we'll converse about how the first major problem of modern life is the constant search for external validation. We live in a display case where our happiness seems to depend on likes or the approval of a circle that is often superficial. We look at other people's lives, carefully edited and filtered, and compare ourselves, feeling that we are always one step behind, always lacking. This incessant search for recognition makes us vulnerable, hostage to others' opinions, turning our self-esteem into a toy in the hands of the outside world. It's an endless race where the finish line always moves, and the true victory, inner peace, becomes increasingly distant. The ancient wisdom reminds us that the only things we can truly control are our minds, our choices, and our reactions. Everything outside this circle of influence, like others' opinions, city traffic, or even the weather, are indifferents. Not that they don't matter, but they shouldn't disturb us. Understanding this is liberating. It's like releasing an invisible weight you didn't even know you were carrying. Suddenly, external validation loses its power. Criticism becomes mere noise, and praise a fleeting breeze. You are no longer at the mercy of the emotions these things provoke, because you've decided they won't affect your core. Consider, for instance, a moment when you posted something on social media, perhaps a photo or a thought, and received a negative comment. The first instinctive reaction might be anger, frustration, or shame. You feel attacked, your self-esteem shaken. Now, imagine that same situation with a different mindset. The comment is still there, it's a fact, but you recognize that the pain doesn't come from the comment itself, but from your interpretation and the importance you give to it. You realize that person's opinion says more about them than about you. What they think is out of your control. Your reaction, however, is not. You can choose to ignore it or even reflect if there's any constructive truth in it. Texto padrone, without letting it shake your sense of worth. To apply this in practice, start observing your reactions throughout the day. When something external irritates you or makes you anxious, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, practice acceptance. It's not passive resignation, but the wisdom of not fighting against what cannot be changed. Direct your energy to what you can. Control your attitude, your response. This can be as simple as deciding not to react to a provocation or accepting an inevitable delay with patience instead of irritation. It's a muscle that strengthens with use. This shift in perspective transforms how you interact with the world. You become a calmer, less reactive observer. People can say what they want, events can unfold as they please, but your core remains intact. Your peace is no longer a product of circumstances, but a conscious choice. You stop being a leaf in the wind and become a firm rock, allowing life to flow around you without dragging your essence away. This is true freedom, the freedom to be your own master, regardless of what happens outside. The second major challenge is the constant worry about the future. We plan, we project, and often we suffer in advance for scenarios that may never even happen. The anxiety about what's to come robs us of the present, preventing us from enjoying the now. We get caught in a cycle of what-ifs, where the mind creates a million possibilities, most of them negative, and drags us into an abyss of concern. We forget that the future is, by definition, uncertain, and this uncertainty becomes an inexhaustible source of torment for those who don't know how to deal with it. Ancient wisdom teaches us that the future is a realm of possibilities, not certainties, and the only intelligent way to approach it is to focus on the present, on what can be done today. Worrying about tomorrow is trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, we should do our best in the current moment and accept that the final outcome is not entirely in our hands. This doesn't mean being irresponsible or not planning. It means planning diligently, but without excessive attachment to the result. It's an invitation to act virtuously now, knowing that this is all we can truly do. Let's imagine the situation of a student preparing for an important exam. He might spend hours and hours worrying about the grade he'll get, if he'll get into university, if he'll disappoint his parents. This excessive worry doesn't help him study better. On the contrary, it drains his energy and impairs his concentration. Now think of a student who dedicates himself to studying each day, focusing on understanding the material, doing his best in each study session. He accepts that on exam day, he will do what he can with the knowledge he has acquired. The final result, though important, does not define his peace. He controls the effort, not the grade. To integrate this into your life, start practicing present moment awareness. When your mind begins to wander to distressing future scenarios, gently bring it back to what you are doing now. If you are working, focus on the task at hand. If you are talking, pay attention to the person. And when planning, do so with a sense of responsibility, but without the illusion that you can control every variable. Separate what is yours, your effort, your preparation, from what is not yours, the final result, the circumstances. Act with the virtue of today and let tomorrow take care of itself. This new way of facing the future transforms anxiety into a sense of purpose in the present. You stop spending energy worrying about what hasn't happened yet and invest that energy in meaningful actions in the now. The fear of the unknown diminishes because you realize that the only thing you truly possess is this moment. And in this moment, you have the power to act with wisdom, courage, and justice. This is your sphere of control, your kingdom, and within it you are sovereign, regardless of what the future may bring. The third contemporary problem is the trap of immediate pleasure and instant gratification. We live in a world where everything is designed to be fast, easy, and accessible. Fast food, on-demand entertainment, one-click shopping. This incessant pursuit of immediate gratification makes us impatient, unable to tolerate the discomfort or effort needed to achieve long-term goals. We flee from pain, boredom, and discipline, sacrificing personal growth in the name of fleeting comfort. The consequence is increasing superficiality, a lack of depth, and an emptiness that ephemeral pleasure cannot fill. The ancient perspective invites us to embrace discomfort and practice self-discipline, not out of masochism, but because we understand that true growth resides in overcoming challenges. It is through effort and moderation that we build character and resilience. Unrestrained pleasure, without purpose, is seen as a tyrannical master that enslaves us. Real freedom comes from the ability to choose what is difficult but necessary, instead of giving in to what is easy but harmful. It's about mastering one's own impulses rather than being mastered by them. Consider the example of someone who wants to start exercising. The easiest path would be to stay home on the couch, watching TV and eating something tasty. The immediate pleasure is undeniable. But in the long run, this choice leads to stagnation and loss of health. Now imagine this person choosing to get up early, brave the cold and fatigue to go to the gym. The initial discomfort is real. Muscle soreness might appear, but the long-term reward is health, energy, and the satisfaction of having overcome oneself. Instant gratification is exchanged for a lasting benefit, built with discipline. To apply this, start identifying areas in your life where you easily give in to instant gratification. It could be excessive phone use, unhealthy eating, procrastinating important tasks. Then, set small daily goals to resist these impulses. For example, decide you won't check your phone for the first 30 minutes after waking up, or that you'll walk for 15 minutes, even if you don't feel like it. Celebrate these small victories. Practice voluntary discomfort now and then, like taking a cold shower or fasting for a few hours. These practices strengthen your discipline muscle. This approach transforms how you view pleasure and discomfort. You learn that not all pleasure is good and not all pain is bad. Discomfort becomes a sign of growth, an opportunity to strengthen yourself. You stop being a slave to your impulses and become the master of your own will. Patience becomes a valuable virtue, and delayed gratification, the seed of greater achievements. Your life gains depth, purpose, and a resilience that easy pleasure could never offer. The fourth major dilemma of our era is the constant exposure to negative news and catastrophes, leading to a sense of powerlessness and despair. The 24/7 news cycle amplifies every tragedy, every injustice, creating a global panorama that often seems bleak and hopeless. We feel that the world is falling apart and that we are mere spectators, unable to make any difference. This perception paralyzes us, making us cynical or apathetic, undermining our faith in humanity and in our own power to act. The ancient philosophy teaches us to distinguish between what we can change and what we cannot. While it's important to be informed and empathetic, we must avoid empathic suffering that drains us without empowering us. The focus should be on acting where we can make a difference, however small, and serenely accepting what is beyond our reach. This is not to ignore the world's suffering, but rather to channel our energy effectively. It's about cultivating serenity in the face of the uncontrollable and the courage to act where action is possible. Imagine, for example, a natural disaster in a distant part of the world. The images are shocking, the suffering immense. The first reaction might be an overwhelming feeling of sadness and helplessness. You want to help, but you feel small in the face of the tragedy's magnitude. With a different mindset, you acknowledge the pain, you feel empathy, but then you ask yourself, what can I realistically do? Perhaps you can't go there personally, but you can donate to an aid organization, you can share useful information, or simply pray and wish them well. You act within your circle of influence and accept that you cannot solve the entire world's problems. To apply this, practice conscious news consumption. Don't isolate yourself, but limit the time you spend passively absorbing negative information. When faced with a distressing situation, ask yourself, is this within my control? Is there any concrete action I can take, however small? If so, act. If not, practice serenity and direct your energy towards what is within your reach. This might mean focusing on a personal project, helping a close friend, or simply cultivating gratitude for what you have. This change in approach frees us from the overwhelming weight of the world and gives us back a sense of agency. You become an agent of change, even if on a small scale, rather than a passive victim of circumstances. Apathy is replaced by intentional action and despair by practical hope. You understand that the world will always have its challenges, but your ability to deal with them, to find peace and to do good, is something you can actively cultivate, regardless of the global scenario. Finally, the fifth and perhaps most insidious problem of modern life, the incessant pursuit of happiness as a destination, a permanent state to be achieved. We are constantly bombarded with the idea that we must be happy all the time, that life should be a succession of joyful, problem-free moments. This leads to chronic frustration because the reality is that life is made up of ups and downs, of joys and sorrows, of gains and losses. When happiness is not achieved, or when adversity knocks, we feel flawed, as if we have failed in a primary goal of existence. Timeless wisdom teaches us that true peace does not come from the relentless pursuit of happiness, but from virtue and serenity in the face of all experiences. Life is a constant flow of events, and our task is not to control that flow, but to control our response to it. Virtue, understood as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, is the only true good, the only path to a full and meaningful life, regardless of external circumstances. Happiness becomes a natural byproduct of a life lived with purpose and integrity, not an end in itself. Consider someone who lost their job. The immediate and understandable reaction is sadness, fear, anger. The pursuit of happiness would tell us to suppress these feelings, to seek distraction. But what if this person accepted the pain, allowed themselves to grieve, and then with courage began to seek new opportunities, to learn new skills, to reevaluate their priorities? Happiness in this context is not a constant state, but an ability to find purpose and meaning even in adversity, to act with virtue when everything seems to collapse. It is the peace that comes from knowing you are doing your best, even in difficult times. To apply this, stop chasing happiness like an elusive rabbit. Instead, focus on cultivating virtues in your daily life. Ask yourself in every situation, how can I act with more wisdom here? How can I be more just, more courageous, more temperate? Pain, sadness, frustration are inevitable parts of the human experience. Accept them, learn from them, but don't let them define your worth or your ability to live a meaningful life. Find your purpose not in a utopia of constant joy, but in building a strong and integral character. This last shift in perspective is perhaps the most profound. It frees us from the tyranny of constant joy and invites us to embrace the fullness of the human experience. You stop fighting life and start dancing with it in all its complexities. Inner peace becomes a state of being, a fortress you carry with you, no matter where you are or what you are facing. You discover that true happiness is not the absence of problems, but the ability to face them with wisdom and serenity. Your life becomes a work of art in progress, shaped by your choices, your character, and your unwavering determination to live with purpose. May you carry this inner flame, this mental clarity, into every day that comes. May your mind be your refuge and your will your guide.